Inflation is defined as a sustained increase in the general price level of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. Inflation occurs due to an imbalance between demand and supply of money, changes in production and distribution costs, or increase in tax on products. When economy experiences inflation, the price level of goods and services increase and the value of currency decrease. This means now each unit of currency buys fewer goods and services. It has a worse impact on consumers. High price of day-to-day goods make it difficult for consumers to afford even the basic commodities in life. This leaves them with no choice but to ask for higher income. Hence, the government tries to keep inflation under control. The most commonly used inflation index are the Consumer Price Index (CPI) and Wholesale Price Index (WPI). The CPI is a consumer price index that tracks changes in the price of products and services sold in retail stores and the price of goods and services sold directly to consumers. The CPI is the final level at which the price of goods or services increase. The Central Statistics Office of the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation publishes the CPI. This applies to both commodities and services: education, food, transportation, communication, recreation, clothes, housing, and medical care are all covered under the CPI. It is released once a month. The Wholesale Price Index (WPI) is a metric for calculating the average price change when a wholesaler sells large quantity of anything. Before something reaches the ultimate level, the WPI examines the difference in commodity price at the prescribed level. For growing good price, the WPI is the starting point. The WPI is published by the Ministry of Commerce and the Industry Office of Economic Advisor. WPI covers only goods, and the main categories covered are gasoline, electricity, plus manufactured goods. It publishes matching writer full and strength for the rest of the thing weekly or monthly. The financial year is used as the base year by WPI.
Formula for Consumer Price Index (CPI) is latest CPI minus earlier CPI and divided by earlier CPI then times by 100%. CPI for 2020 is 120.1. CPI for 2021 is 124.5. CPI for 2022 is 129.2. For the year 2021, CPI is 124.5 minus 120.1 and divided by 120.1, then times by 100%. We got 3.66%. For the year 2022, CPI is 129.2 minus 124.5 and divided by 124.5, then times by 100%. We got 3.77%. Formula for GDP deflator is nominal GDP divided by real GDP and times by 100%. For inflation rate, GDP deflator year 2 minus by GDP deflator year 1 and divide by GDP deflator year 1, then times by 100%. Nominal GDP for year 2020 is 337,339 USD million. We exchange to Ringgit Malaysia by times it with 4.78. We got RM 161,010 million. For 2021, 372,981 USD million. We exchange to Ringgit Malaysia, we got 1,785,849 million. For 2022, for 06306 USD million, we exchange to Ringgit Malaysia, we got 1,945,189 million. Real GDP for year 2020 is 344,423 USD million. We exchange to Ringgit Malaysia by times it by 4.78. We got RM 1,649,249 million. For 2020-21, 355,073 USD million. We exchange to Malaysia Ringgit and we got 1,699,911 million. For 2022, 385,944. We exchange to Malaysia Ringgit, we got 1,847,706 million. GDP deflator is nominal GDP divided by real GDP and times by 100%. For the year 2020, RM 1615010 divided by 1649249 times by 100%, we got 97.92. For the year 2021, RM 1785849 divided by 1699911 times by 100%, we got 10510. For 2022, RM 1645189 divided by 1847706 times by 100%, we got 10526. Inflation rate for year 2021 is 105.10 minus 97.92 divided by 97.92 and times by 100%, we got 7.33%. Inflation rate for year 2022 is 105.26 minus 105.10 divided by 105.10, then times by 100%, we got 0.15%.
So I'm gonna explain about two types of inflation. The first one is demand pull inflation. Demand pull inflation occurs to arise when aggregate demand in an economy is more than aggregate supply. It involves inflation rising as real gross domestic product rises and unemployment falls. As the economy moves along the Phillips curve, this is commonly described as too much money chasing too few goods. So the second one is cost push inflation. Cost push inflation is a purported type of inflation caused by increases in the cost of important goods or services, where no suitable alternatives is available, as business face higher prices of their outputs. So, I have example of demand pull inflation first. Demand pull inflation, using this graph. For example, due to expansionary economic policies, shifts aggregate demand curve from AD0 to AD1. This drives output to exceed its potential level, GDP1. And the price level rises from P0 to P1. When real GDP is above the level of full employment, the upward pressure on wages strengthens. The increase in real wages drive production cost soaring, resulting in a decrease in short-term aggregate supply to SRAS1 until real GDP returns to its potential level. So, the second graph is cost push inflation graph. So, this graph, the increase in production cost shifts the SRAS0 curve to SRAS1. So the price level increase from P0 to P1 and GDP reduces to GDP1. In response, the government might respond by loosening economic policy, stimulating aggregate demand to AD1, so the output returns to its long-term potential level, but with the consequence of prices rises again.
Inflation can have both positive and negative impacts on the financial sector development. Okay, for positive impacts, it has interest income. Inflation can lead to higher interest rates, which can benefit financial institutions like banks, as they can charge more for loans. This can boost their profitability and stimulate lending, which is a key function of the financial sector. Second, it has asset values. Inflation can increase the value of assets held by financial institutions such as real estate and stock, which can enhance their balance sheet. Third, it has investment. Inflation might encourage investment in financial assets like stocks and bonds, as investors seek for returns that outpace inflation. For negative impact, it has uncertainty. High or unpredictable inflation can create uncertainty in financial market, making it difficult for businesses and individuals to plan for the future. This can lead to reduced investment and economic instability. Second, it has purchasing power. Inflation erodes the purchasing power of money. When people lose confidence in their currency's value, they may seek alternative stores of value such as gold or foreign currencies, which can disrupt financial markets. Second, it has fixed income investment. Inflation can be detrimental to investors holding fixed income securities like bonds as the real returns on this investment decrease. Third, it has regulatory challenges. Managing inflation often requires government intervention and policies like interest rate adjustment can pose regulatory challenges for financial institutions. The impact of inflation on financial sector development depends on the rate and predictability of inflation as well as the ability of financial institutions to adapt to changing economic conditions. In moderate and stable inflation environments, financial sectors can thrive, but in cases of hyperinflation or deflation, the sector may face significant challenges.